Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we will be reviewing the case of Rosnah binti Ariff, the mother of the disease of Muhammad Rohaizat bin Alias, and Sentiasa Hebat Sendirian Berhad, and another. My name is Muhammad Faris Haziq bin Abdul Ghani, with metric number of 2314379. So, as we can see, the journal for this case is Malaysian Law Journal, or MLJ, with a citation of MLJU 965. So, the judge for this case was Azizan Mat Arshad PK, or Judicial Commissioner, and the judgment for this appeal was 2 May 2023. So, let's get into the case. In this case, a tragic fatal accident occurred on July 16, 2019, involving a motorcyclist identified by the registration number of PMR 5752, the disease, and the defendant's motor lorry bearing registration number DY3075. The incident took place at kilometer 135.6 of the North-South Highway. Following the accident, the mother of the deceased, the plaintiff, initiated legal proceeding against the defendant, seeking redress for special damage and loss of dependency under Section 7 and 8 of the Civil Law Act 1956. Based on the scenario given to us, the legal proceeding that we managed to identify is civil law. The area of law that involved in this scenario is tort law, and to be specific, on contributory negligence.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Nasrullah bin Muhammad Fuad, and I will be presenting the issues that we have derived from this case. So there are two issues, which the first one is whether the plaintiff succeeded in proving that the defendant was negligent to the point of causing and transferring the onus of proof to the defendant. The second one is whether the plaintiff had contributed to the accident that he suffered. So we move on to the law applicable in this case. So the court used Civil Law Act 1956, which is the first one is the Section 7, compensation to the family of a person for loss occasioned by his death. So Clause 3, Section 7, Clause 3, Clause 4 Roman, and Clause C take into account any diminution of any such amount as aforesaid by such sum as is proved or admitted to be the living expenses of the person deceased at the time of his death. So the second one is the Section 12, apportionment of liability in case of contributory negligence. So the second one is the Section 12, apportionment of liability in case of contributory negligence. So Section 12, Clause 1, where any person suffers damage as the result partly of his own fault and partly of the fault of any other person, a claim in respect that damage shall not be defeated by reason of the fault of the person suffering the damage, but the damages recoverable in respect thereof shall be reduced to such extent as the court thinks just and equitable, having regard to the claimant's share in the responsibility for the damage. So the last one is Section 28A, damages in respect of personal injury. So Section 28A, Clause 2, Clause C, Clause 3 Roman, any diminution of any such amount as aforesaid by such sum as is proved or admitted to be the living expenses of the plaintiff at the time when he was injured. So as we can see, the section, the term living expenses in the Section 28A and in the Section 7, the court viewed that the term bear the same meaning. So that's all from me. I will pass the floor to the next.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Afiq bin Hamid Faisal with my trade number 2310619. So, moving on to the decision of the case. First of all, in this case, the High Court decided that this appeal should be allowed with cause. Secondly, the applicant has proven its claim that the respondent was found negligent. Thus, the decision by the learned judge was overruled and the applicant's claim for special damages and loss of dependency was granted by the court, where, for the loss of dependency, applicant was entitled for the amount of Rm 172,800 ringgit and also 50% of that amount, which is Rm 86,400 ringgit. However, the High Court also found that there was contributory negligence from the deceased in this case. Therefore, 50% of the liability was assigned to the plaintiff. So, for rational discrepancy, firstly, in setting aside the decision made by the Session Court, the High Court has referred to principle laid down in the case of Lil Hock Lai against Yewah Peng, which literally required the appellate court to reverse a finding of fact by the lower court if such finding is clearly against the weight of evidence. Next, the High Court found that the learned judge was wrong in stating that the plaintiff had failed to prove how the accident occurred, which at once cannot prove that the defendant was negligent. However, the evidence and the witness testimony clearly shows that the accident happened due to the friction between the motorcycle ride by the deceased and the lorry driven by the defendant. Furthermore, in the aspect of contributory negligence, the court has referred to the case of Ng Kian, where the judge at that time had referred to the principle enunciated in Baker against Market Harbour Industrial Cooperative Society that gave a presumption that when an accident occurs, then in the absence of special circumstances, most of the drivers are negligent. Lastly, in deciding the amount of damages entitled to the plaintiff, the court has referred to Section 7, Subsection 3, 4 Roman C of the Civil Law Act, as well as cases like Cheng Cheng-Fu and Anar against Shivanathan Perumal that highlight in the fatal accident cases in respect of dependency claim, the deceased's own expenses have to be deducted. This is because the deceased before his death could not have contributed all of his earning towards the maintenance of his wife.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Rafiki bin Omar, and I will be presenting our the analysis for our case review. So the analysis for our case review consists of two parts, which is the first part is the comment on the decision of the court, and the second part is the impact on the future decisions. So for the first part of our analysis, which is the comment on the decision of the court, we agree on the decision of the High Court. The court has analyzed various cases to indicate a thorough examination of legal principles and their application to the case. The court has effectively interpreted and applied the law to the facts of the case. The court recognized that there had been negligence from the side of the defendants. This acknowledgement reinforces the importance of taking into account all evidences, statements, and pleadings made by both parties, and the importance of referring to another case law in making decisions. This can be seen where the court has taken into account the statement of the second defendant and had referred to the case of Ng Ai Kian and another versus Sia Loh Sia in making decisions, unlike in the prior proceeding in the session court where the statement of the second defendant is abandoned. The court also recognized the appellant's claim that there had been negligence from the defendant when the collision happened between defendant and the deceased. The court acknowledged the potential harm caused by negligence and the right to seek compensation for the resulting losses according to Section 7 of Civil Law Act 1956. Therefore, it is reasonable for the court to put liability on both parties for contributory negligence because of the lack of evidence. So we're moving on to the second part of the analysis, which is the impact of the case on future decisions. This case has significant impact on future decisions as it establishes binding precedent and provides guidance for similar cases in the future. First, a correct decision sets a precedent that lower courts are bound to follow. It becomes a legal authority that guides judges in similar cases, ensuring consistency and predictability in the application of the law, thus future judges can rely on the precedent to understand how the law will be interpreted and applied. Secondly, the decision made promotes legal certainty by clarifying the law and providing clear guidance on the rights and obligations of the parties. This will reduce ambiguity and uncertainty in the legal system. And lastly, the decision helps maintain consistency in the interpretation and application of the law. It ensures that similar cases are treated in a similar manner, promoting fairness and equity before the law. In conclusion, this case is important in the area of tort law as it reaffirms the principle of contributory negligence and the importance to take into account all evidences, statements, and pleadings made by both parties in order to uphold justice for all. Furthermore, something that we can learn from this case is that every dispute has solution. This can be seen from this case where there was lack of evidence and friction of statement the judge has resorted into another initiative by referring to another case law to decide the outcome of this case. That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.